They want to restart the war on Christians and churches. And as you saw with the communists elected in New York City recently, they're communists, they're not social democrats.
What does success look like to you moving forward?
Well, I think right now we already achieved success in the most secure border in the history of the nation.
If the Iranian regime thinks for a second that President Trump is going to stand by, while Iran continues to attack international shipping without a response, or our bases without a response, they're sadly mistaken.
What a weekend. We have watched great leadership step up in sync with the 250th celebration and let the world know where we stand. We know the USA is worth protecting and that Patriots are in control, and those messages found on the cue board were placed in our laps again by this administration. Don't want to miss it. We're going to look into Venezuela also, the earthquake stuff at the end of this video, the border, Iran, and so much more that President Trump has placed for all of us to see. 512,000 followers on Rumble. It's our go-to for free speech. As you know, YouTube will take down our videos whenever they feel like it. They don't believe in free speech, and that's why we don't trust them. And we go here, and we are thankful to Rumble for what they've done for us. Also, we're number 2 on the leaderboard again as we went into the weekend. We appreciate that. That's you hitting those like buttons and putting comments below, and it's helping us get next to Dan Bongino. We certainly love that, too. If you guys missed this, check it out.
Our new And We Know bracelets connect you with scripture with just the tap of your phone. Simply tap your phone to the bracelet, click the pop-up, and there's a new verse every time. If you're feeling anxious, need to pray, or just want to see what God has for you in the moment, you can tap for a verse and pray over that situation. Now available online. Now available,
shop.mweknow.com or mweknow.com. We hope you guys go check that out and get your 250th year merchandise also from our website. Wanted to start with just a positive note here before we get into the heavy stuff.
I really hope people don't take this for granted, because America is safe, America is clean, America is friendly. Man, this is such an awesome place. God bless America.
If you want to hate the US, listen to the media. If you want to love the US, just drive across it. We
haven't got one of those either.
No, oh my God, guys, we're going to go into Target for the first time ever. Thanks so much.
The Europeans are freaking out over free refills as they visit our country. We've got folks from all over the earth for the World Cup. Croatia fans are eating too much Texas barbecue.
Vive l'Amérique. This place is incroyable. C'est incroyable.
I cannot speak English, but I'm excited!
Americans, your country is so beautiful.
If I never ever come to the USA, I would have never seen what actually goes on in America. But I actually really love it here. People are just too nice. What is going on?
So that was put out by the White House just to, show their excitement that all these folks around the world are coming to America, and they were lied to on social media and from their own media. And now they're getting out there and they're showing, man, the world is healing, and they're coming together, and they're realizing even more so how much they've been lied to, even in the music industry. And yeah, the music industry. So I was going to show this later. It kind of made me think of it. Man, I should bring this up now because so many folks are influenced by the music out there, that music world. And USAID, Lauren Chen kind of put this out there, gets defunded, and now no one listens to rap anymore. Well, what do you mean, LT? Well, the Billboard R&B hip hop, no rap songs. This was put out October 29th, 2025. I missed this one. No rap songs are in the Billboard Hot 100's top 40 for the first time since 1990. That was as of October 29, 2025. As one long-running hip-hop smash goes recurrent on the chart, the Hot 100's top 40 does not boast a single rap song, ending that streak that lasted for over 35 years. Observing Consciousness put out a great article on this. It's in the description box below. It's very, very long. And so just a piece of that particular article, The Trojan Horse of Rap, Diddy, Death Row Records, the CIA, and the White Hat Takeover. The CIA rap music as an opportunity to control and could shape the minds of the masses. By infiltrating the industry, the agency could direct the messaging towards themes that supported its agenda: violence, materialism, misogyny, and division. The goal was to distract young, impressionable minds from real societal issues and keep them trapped in cycles of consumerism and conflict. So it looks like their money train is running out. The fake buying of and promoting of that music to all of the children is falling apart, and it looks like little by little we'll be able to stop brainwashing our children to stop hating each other, and all of the junk and sin that is pushed out in that, and a lot of the lyrics from that music will finally be put to an end for a little while. We got to keep our taps on it and keep praying and hoping for even more. And of course, the other person that had huge influence on our country was this waste and destroyer of many countries, not just the United States. President Trump put this out. D. Trump, 20 years old, smiling with the uniform on. B. H. Obama, 18, with looks like a joint probably in his mouth. Yeah. And it's interesting because he took that set of photos and really grabbed them from the cue board. May 11th, 2020, we had the same exact two photos. So it's almost like he grabbed them from the cue board, he posted for all to see to remind us that there is a guy who was basically a puppet put in there to destroy our nation. And you guys know several videos I read to you, all the ways that he did this from the puppet masters as they worship Satan and they were looking for ways to destroy us. Of course, he put this out also, Hillary Clinton, Biden, and also Kamala. I lost to Trump hats, all in red. And another person who had a loss to Trump was this freak right here, John Bolton. Pled guilty to one of 18 counts in classified docs indictment. Oh. Director Kash Patel said the FBI's investigation proved that John Bolton knowingly transmitted top secret information and using personal online accounts and retained said documents in his house, all in direct violation of federal law. Despite an onslaught of false claims by the fake news stating that this case was retribution, this investigation was based on meticulous work from dedicated professionals at the FBI who followed the facts without fear or favor, and Bolton chose to admit his guilt and pled guilty. He's now a convicted felon. How about that? You guys remember when he did this after President Trump had his house raided at Mar-a-Lago? Imagine all of his buddies old Bolton was jumping in board with and jumping on the media. And he was saying this.
Any given moment. But I don't think he cared about the classification system. I don't think he appreciated the sensitivity of this information. And he didn't appreciate the sensitivity of how it was often acquired, the so-called sources and methods.
Almost sounds like he's talking in third person. He, Bolton, didn't respect everything that's involved in classified information. Well, the guy that was out there spouting about Trump, who didn't do anything wrong, is actually telling tales on himself. It's amazing, right? They do this on purpose. It's almost like they say, hey, go out there and say all these things about Trump since you were the ones that was actually doing the classified docs and releasing them out to the media. You go out there and say Trump was doing it. That way, when Trump comes after you, when he gets into office, they'll just say it's retribution. That way, you'll get by with it and you'll be fine and they won't actually come after you. Oh, it didn't work.
This morning, just moments ago, John Robert Bolton II pled guilty in federal court to the unlawful retention of national defense information. According to the terms of the plea agreement, Mr. Bolton faces a maximum sentence of up to 5 years in prison.
That's a long time.
Followed by a term of up to 3 years of supervised release.
Put that ankle bracelet on.
He will also pay a fine of $2.25 million.
That's probably nothing. He probably got paid hundreds of millions of dollars to feed the information off to the press and others.
And will forfeit his pension under the HIS Act. As National Security Advisor to the President of the United States, Mr. Bolton had access to and was responsible for safeguarding the most sensitive national defense information, including classified material. Mr. Bolton knew how to handle classified information, where it should be stored, how it should be stored, and with whom he could share that information. He also knew the damage to national security that could be caused by mishandling that sensitive information. Nevertheless, as Mr. Bolton just admitted, he put our national security at grave risk in violation of the law. Our system of classified information is designed to protect sensitive information that would jeopardize national security if mishandled. And the national defense information at issue in this case was classified at the highest classification levels. The document in count 12, for example, revealed intelligence about an adversary's plans for an attack conducted against U.S. forces in another country. It contained human intelligence using sensitive sources and methods, and it discussed a covert action program. As Mr. Bolton admitted, he shared more than 1,000 pages of information about his day-to-day activities as the National Security Advisor, including information related to the national defense, with two individuals who neither had the security clearances nor the need to know that information.
1,000 pages, like 3 or 4 books worth. Yeah, and he was out there accusing Trump of doing that. Other folks that are out there getting called out, and at the exact time that it's put on the cue board, it's pretty cool. President Trump said, based on a very quick and boring briefing concerning the maggot Hagerman book about me, it is mostly made up, fake news, largely fiction, as have been most of the things she has written about me for so many years. She is a third-rate writer and intellect who has made a first-rate income because of your favorite president, me. She was wrong about me on the elections, although she knew I was going to win big. She was wrong about me on the Russia hoax, and she was wrong about me on just about everything else. But she continues to spew out garbage, and people continue to buy it. Remember, I won the election big, all 7 swing states, popular vote, 86% of the counties, and they don't have the audio tapes that they imply they have. Just another maggot con job. Margot. Maggot. It's Margot. But he called her Maggot Haberman in the beginning. Oh boy, just another Margot con job. And Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. They kind of just threw that one in there, 1222. That's what he posted it. Well, you go to 1222 on the keyboard and it says, who does Haberman follow? Wow. It's almost like President Trump posted it just at the exact time that he wanted us to all look at it on the cue board. So we can see that the answer to who does Haberman follow says this: these people are stupid. We have it all. Oh boy. Other folks that are stupid would be out the regime running Iran. I'm going to read this to you in a moment. Stick around. Well, every time a missile goes off or a bomb explodes, microplastic particles are released into the upper atmosphere and spread throughout the earth, making their way into the air we breathe and the food we eat. Because they're so small, they get absorbed into the bloodstream and our organs, where they build up over time, triggering inflammation and increasing the risk of heart disease, cancer, and even Alzheimer's. But there's something incredible. New research now showing that certain probiotics found only in kimchi can bind these microplastics and help remove them from the body. The results showed that people taking the kimchi-derived probiotic were clearing out nearly twice as many microplastics. And it doesn't stop there. Another study found that a specific strain in kimchi, Bacillus pumilus, can break down BPA, one of the most toxic chemicals in plastic. What that means is your body actually has the ability to get rid of toxins, but only when your gut is balanced and functioning the way it's supposed to. But here's the challenge. Most people aren't eating kimchi consistently enough to get these benefits. That's why Bright Core created Kimchi One with over 900 plus strains of beneficial bacteria that deliver all the benefits of real kimchi in convenient capsules, no taste, no smell, non-GMO, and 100% made in the USA. Today, you can try Kimchi One by clicking the link below for 25% off your entire order, or for the best deal available, call my friends at Brightcore for up to 50% off plus free shipping. Call now, 888-317-9941. That's 888-317-9941. Well, the United States aircraft just struck Iranian missile and drone storage locations, and this was the other day, so it's not just recently, and coastal radar sites for violating the ceasefire agreement. Again, they did it again. It is very possible that they will never learn. There may come a point when we are no longer able to be reasonable and will be forced to militarily complete the job that we very successfully started. If that happens, the Islamic Republic of Iran will no longer exist. President Donald J. Trump.
If the Iranian regime thinks for a second that President Trump is going to stand by while Iran continues to attack international shipping without a response, or our bases without a response, they're sadly mistaken. And they saw that loud and clear over the last few nights, where we'll continue to militarily, if needed, take down their infrastructure that they're trying to use to illegally control an international waterway. And Shannon, just one more point on that. That's not just the United States. That's the entire international community. A UN record, 143 nations have agreed with us that this is in violation of international law. Even the Chinese government has said you cannot be taking tolls or fees. Iran was apparently relying on Oman across the waterway to help it set up this new infrastructure. And now Oman just yesterday has rejected the idea of tolls or fees. So they're completely isolated here. President Trump's not going to stand for it. And meanwhile, we continue to move ships out by the dozens every day, and world oil prices are not just stable, they're dropping. So Iran's attempt to hold the world hostage and their economies hostage are completely failing.
There we go. So enough on Iran. Let's go back to our United States of America. President Trump was posted on a photo by Dan Scavino flying over D.C. And he said, President Trump, I just returned from a tour of various statues, monuments, fountains, and most importantly, an old and rundown golf course located throughout Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. Almost all of the statues, monuments, and fountains have been completely renovated and restored and are in, after suffering years of graffiti, abuse, and vandalism, perfect shape. They are truly beautiful, even nicer than the day they were built. The reflecting pool is now in full use after suffering great damage from criminal, radical left vandals, people that truly hate our country. They cut the lower surface of a very expensive and strong waterproof padding in the color of American flag blue and put their hands underneath the surface and ripped it. Likewise, they cut and butchered a 350-foot long strip with many 1- and 2-foot individual cuts, creating great damage to this beautiful piece of art that was, last week, 100% free of leaks and any of the other problems it has had since its building in 1922. It never worked properly until last week. And right after July 4th, when we will drain the water to treat the damage caused by these animals, quote unquote, it will again be in perfect shape. In the meantime, it is working well. The criminally made algae is gone, and the grass, which was destroyed, is being replaced shortly. The visit to Lafayette Park, opposite the front entrance of the White House, which is now complete except for a replacement of some of the original pavers, was wonderful. Lafayette Park has not looked so good since its inception in 1820. Most importantly on today's visit, however, was the Secretary of the Interior and his people, together with me and my staff, studying the dilapidated, worn out, and very dangerous and outdated golf course known as East Potomac Golf Links. Potomac. Tom Fazio, the great golf course architect, and his son Gavin participated on the tour with us, whereupon it was determined that on this fantastic site with water and unparalleled views of DC's monuments, we will build one of the greatest golf courses anywhere in the world, which, importantly, will also be made available to the public. Oh, that's great. I think I'm going to have to go play on that one. When completed, this course will have the ability to host major golf tournaments, including the U.S. Open, the Ryder Cup, the PGA Championship, and other top PGA Tour events. Many of the trees are badly damaged from years of neglect, putting people in great danger from falling branches and the trees falling themselves. Additionally, the sprinkler system is gone. There is no filtration, and the remaining sprinklers are incapable of even doing 10% of what is needed. The grass is largely dead, the greens are virtually unplayable, and the course is in very poor general condition. But after many years of horrendous maintenance and little money devoted to the process of upkeep, we have determined that this location can bring tremendous success and prestige back to Washington, D.C., along with what we have already done with respect to the lowest crime numbers in many years and the fixing of 73 of our most important statues, monuments, and fountains. The course is virtually unplayable. Work on the new course, which will go quickly, will begin on September 1st. Tom Fazio will be the course architect. It will be built through the Department of the Interior and designed to the highest standards of golf, but also in which, such a way that the general public will love it. Thank you for your attention to this matter. It's very important. I think reading this, I just start thinking about the deep state, how so much has been, obliterated, and now much work must be done to bring it back up to speed and get our country back to normal after destroying all of the deep state, the money, and everything that they've done. And I think so part of this, when he's talking about the golf course, I always equate it to what's going on in the United States of America. President Trump also said this is what happens to people who desecrate or even think about desecrating our great monuments, statues, or fountains. Destruction of government property, defense attorney says damaging or destroying property owned or controlled by the federal government is a federal offense under Title 18 U.S.C. 1361. Convictions can lead to prison sentences up to 10 years, depending on the value of the damaged property. All that damaged property, and the media was out there complaining. CNN would go out to the reflecting pool, and they were doing these, day after day, showing you the algae that was inside of the reflecting pool. Did Trump spend this money and actually waste his time? They spent more time on that than all of the children that were lost from crossing the border, all of the terrible things that happened to our women and men as they crossed into so many other places, all of the fraud from the Somali folks and more. They spent so much time there just to go after President Trump. Got to make him look bad as much as we can. But they never went after this freak, this guy named Obama. I'm going to play a clip of him. And if you're looking at the left of your screen, this was the real Biden. You guys look at him, see the real Biden? Notice his ear has an earlobe, and the one that he has now, the actor, has the attached ear, right? And so much more. You could just see the stark difference in the actors versus the real guy. Just kind of an interesting thing. But this is 2009. Obama announces $13 billion from the Recovery Act will be used for high-speed rail projects across the country. A high-speed rail money laundering scam goes back many years. Imagine if the media looked into anything Obama had done as much as it has reported on the reflecting pool.
Building a new system of high-speed rail in America will be faster, cheaper, and easier than building more freeways or adding to an already overburdened aviation system, and everybody stands to benefit. And that's why today, with the help of Secretary LaHood and Vice President Biden, America's #1 rail fan, I've been told, I'm announcing my administration's efforts to transform travel in America with an historic investment in high-speed rail.
Yep, so we're basically going to steal your money. We're going to launder it, and we're going to give it out to all my buddies. Because that's what we do. And then we lie to the people, and then Biden's back there, But you know what? That traitor to the country, remember President Trump said he's been shot. And also, if you notice the way this guy talks, and the way he acts is almost a little different than the one that we see now. I don't know. What do you guys think? We know that a lot of folks think in a different way when it comes to showing photo ID to vote.
Take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of Black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should have a photo ID to be able to vote.
So something of a non...
Oh, Well, all over this, of course, we've got just amazing coverage through the weekend from Maria Bartiromo. She always does a great job, I think. She had Mike Johnson on, and they're going to bring that Save America Act back.
But of course, more important to the president is the Save America Act. There was a real showdown in the House last week. Anna Paulina Luna saying she's not going to move anything forward from her vote because she wants the Senate to attach the Save America Act to whatever legislation they're pushing. Can you tell us what happened and whether or not you believe that can get across the finish line? I know you've passed it many times in the House.
We have, and the president and I laughed about it in the Oval last week. I told him, you know, Mr. President, I don't have any tattoos, but if I did, it'd say Save America on my shoulder, okay? We passed it 3 times in the House already. We're going to pass it again, and this time we're going to try to put it on a reconciliation bill, and the reason that's so important, Maria, as you know, is it prevents the necessity of 60 votes in the Senate. The Democrats want no part of this, and remember, this is very basic stuff. We're just going to make sure you have to have proof of citizenship to register to vote, and then show an ID when you turn out at the ballot box. These are 90-10 public opinion issues, and more than 70% of Democrats want to do it, but not the Democrats in the House and Senate. And so we've got to go around them. And I told Anna Paulina Luna and a couple other colleagues, I said, it makes no sense for us to shut down our good work in the House just because Senate Democrats refuse to do the people's will. We've got a lot more to do.
A lot more to do. And this was released by Il Donaldo Trump, that clip. That's why you had the music in the background playing. I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming. So here's President Trump giving remarks of what's happening across our country.
They want to restart the war on Christians and churches. And as you saw with the communists elected in New York City recently, they're communists, they're not social democrats. They want to completely destroy the traditional American way of life. Communism is very easy to sell. It destroys everything, but it's very easy. I'll be honest, I think I'd be the greatest communist in history. I'd give free rent. Ladies and gentlemen, from now on, you don't have to pay any rent. From now on, anybody wants a house, don't worry about it, just pick the house you want. Everybody gets free food. Everything is free from this point forward. Everyone's going to vote for me. The problem is, after 2 or 3 years, the country is a disaster area. The country fails. They always do. It always does. So easy to sell. That first year, boy, you're the most popular. It's happening right now in New York and California. But you'll start living in squalor. You'll live in squalor. There will be no food. There will be no housing. There will be no military. There will be no law and order. There will be no nothing. There will be no nothing. You'll be a third world inhabitant in every way, and everyone will suffer or die. You'll suffer or die. That's what happens. For thousands of years it's been happening by different names. Thousands of years. I'm telling you, I'd be the greatest communist in history. It would be so easy. You wouldn't have to work. You could stay home. The problem is a couple of years go by, the whole place collapses. Always does. Always has. But I'm sorry to say, but assassinations of those who oppose them is a very important element of their ideology. Assassination's a big deal for them. They're animals. They're animals. In many cases, they're not smart, but in some cases, they are. It's easy for them to get followers because they make promises that they know they can't keep, and the Democrats aren't fighting back. That's why they're dumb. They're not fighting back. They're afraid. I watch Schumer. He's afraid to fight. I watch guys that are pretty normal, and guys that we oppose, they're afraid to fight. The Democrats have taken a tremendous turn left, and many of these people, I looked at some of the people that got elected the other night in New York. These are, in many ways, stupid people. In some ways, and intellectually, probably pretty smart. But they're people that want to destroy our country. They hate our country. They hate our people. They hate the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is in big trouble because this isn't stopping with New York. This is going on. It's too easy to get elected, giving everything away. Too easy to get elected. Very dangerous, but you'll soon have nothing left. That's the problem. In many ways, they're allowing them to just go their own way, do your own. We don't want to take a chance on saying anything bad because we're afraid we're going to lose our jobs if we do. They're afraid they're going to lose their election if they even think about saying anything bad about this new breed of sick people.
New breed of sick people. And he keeps referring to it as communism, and I look at it, well, aren't those folks promoting Islam? President Trump said communism is the greatest threat to our country since World War I, World War II, Pearl Harbor, or 9/11, President Donald J. Trump. Interesting how it's all interwoven, hitting us in different ways, and it's the next wave of the folks who are trying to destroy our country and trying to wake them up to make them realize what's happening. You know, I'm going to get into our borders, some pretty heavy information from Tom Homan and some others out there, and a great video that President Trump put together on that, and so much more on the Q board that posting from the leadership in the White House. Stick around. Friends, let me ask you something. How long have you been trying to get healthy without really knowing what's going on inside your body? You've seen doctors, you followed advice, you may have tried diets or supplements that sounded right, but nothing really changed because you were still guessing. That's why my family and I work with Dr. Kelly Shockley. She doesn't guess, she tests.
One of the biggest ones that I didn't even know I had needed a win, and that is that I have stopped a dependency on melatonin after 10 years use, and in order to sleep. A lot of good results, but to stop that 10-year addiction has been just life-changing.
Dr. Kelly stepped outside the traditional medical system so she could do what the system simply doesn't allow. Look deeper, ask better questions, and get real answers.
And with complete and proper testing, and then actually interpreting those results differently than what the rest of the medical world does, we can find the why behind your diagnosis or the symptoms you're experiencing now that you didn't used to.
Through advanced testing, she uncovers what's actually driving symptoms: toxins, nutrient deficiencies, inflammation, stress patterns, the things you simply can't see without data. When we went through testing, she identified issues I had never even mentioned, things I didn't know were connected. That's when I realized how much I was guessing. This isn't cookie cutter care. It's not trend chasing. It's stewardship. God designed your body to heal, but you have to know what it needs. Testing lights the way. Go to corehealthadvantage.com/AUK, learn how testing works, and decide if it's time to finally get real answers. It's in the description box below, including a link to our latest interview. You'll love it. Click on that link today. So also with Dr. Shockley, we're going to have a live interview, folks, Wednesday, July 1st at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So stick around on our Rumble this week. You're going to have a link go out soon on email so that you guys will know where to go, and you can ask her questions in the comments section or in the chat section of that whole thing. That is going to be phenomenal to watch.
What does success look like to you moving forward?
Well, I think right now we already achieved success in the most secure border in the history of the nation. We found 147,000 of the 300,000 children. We got more to find. And we're not going to give up until we find everyone. While we know about a dozen of them have died, some from natural causes, some from criminal conduct. Some of these children have aged out. We're over 18. It doesn't mean we don't stop looking. Because just because you're over 18 doesn't mean they're not a victim of sex trafficking or forced labor, which many of the children we found were. So success, we got to find every one of them. And look, even if this administration ends, I'll make this promise. I will not stop giving up to the day I die because of the tragedies I've seen in my 40 years. Talk to the 9-year-old little girls that were raped multiple times, standing on a tractor trailer with 19 dead aliens, including a 5-year-old little boy that suffocated to death. That has changed me forever. I will never give up, even in retirement, until the day I die, and make sure we find every one of these kids. And as far as criminals, look, every day ICE is out there arresting criminals. I just said 60% of 800,000 are a lot of criminal threats we removed from the neighborhood. Yeah. President Trump's keeping his promise. We're making this country safe again, one criminal alien at a time.
One at a time. He's been getting some fired up on some speeches lately.
We had a record historic year with deportations. But now we got 10,000 more agents on board, or it should be on board by the end of next month. Wait till next year.
10,000 more agents. Stand by. Next year is going to be phenomenal, and he's getting us ready. And videos like this are helping.
In January 2025, we inherited the worst, most dangerous, most wide open and insecure border in history. And we have quickly turned it into the strongest, most secure border in the history of our country. For the past 13 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted into the United States. We're removing murderers, gang members, drug dealers, and dangerous criminals by the thousands. They came in through a ridiculous open border.
Love it. Love these videos from the U.S. Department of War. Doing a great job in that video department there. Doing great work. We're loving that. And here's Stephen Miller calling out the Democrat Party once again.
The Democrat Party, Sean, as you've covered better than anybody, has become a party of Marxist, communist, socialist, violent extremists, and yes, violent revolutionaries who support the policies that are getting Americans killed en masse historically for many years now, and of course it accelerated under the Biden administration, by criminal illegal aliens. This is a party that supports violence against ICE officers, supports violence against federal law enforcement, and engages in conduct and rhetoric and behavior that leads to repeated assassination attempts against President Trump, against President Trump's supporters, and against Republican elected office holders. It is a terrifying reality, but one we cannot turn away from, ignore. We cannot put our heads in the sand and pretend the Democrat Party of the 90s or the 80s or the 70s exists anymore, because it is gone, Sean. It is gone, and it is not coming back.
It is gone. It's
gone. You know, I told you about the posts from the White House. The White House continues to Q post. If you're looking at your screen, they've got fighter jets going over Washington Monument. It says Patriots in control. That's put out from the White House, and it says locked in. Also, the Department of War CTO had the American Legacy post with some missiles firing and some old Patriots, and it says Patriots have always been in control. They doubled down on the Q posts. President Trump, also the White House says, Team Trump is exposing billions in fraud, even as Democrats keep actively encouraging it. That's a New York Post headline. I'm going to show you some more, but here's some more fraud caught.
Michigan are caught up in a $5 billion
Michigan, Democrats, they're caught.
Fraud scheme that was siphoning taxpayer dollars. The
$5 billion in taxpayer money.
Scheme was uncovered by House Republicans. The accusations, which have sparked outrage, center on the discovery of more than 4,000 fake phantom jobs, allegedly used to siphon taxpayer dollars into non-existent programs, questionable gender surgeries for prisoners, and dubious arts and culture grants. House GOP investigators claim to have identified the thousands of fake job positions created to justify budget allocations that never materialized into actual employment. Critics argue this was a deliberate tactic to funnel public money back to Democrats, bypassing accountability and oversight. This as multiple claims come in over fiscal mismanagement under Democrat control, led by Governor Gretchen Whitmer, with the Michigan state budget ballooning to more than $82 billion. That's
so much exposure. President Trump wanted to make sure you guys saw that. Also, he put this out, great painting, President DJT. And you're looking at a painting with so much history going back to the past of our great country and into the future. Interesting post at 1046. If you go to 1046 on the Q board, we don't inform our enemies of the specifics. We instead instill fear in them to make unplanned and disastrous counter moves. Included in that post, it says Epicenter, full house. They are all here 24/7, 365. Enjoy the show. Also, Tron caught this. Patriots in control has been posted like crazy. We checked that. Well, if you look at the deltas on that particular post, the deltas means they put that out on June 26th. June 26, 2020, we were told, stand at the ready. As the darkness falls, so does our enemies. The next few weeks will demonstrate our resolve. Where we go one, we go all. Rising to the occasion, understanding what's at stake. God bless each and every one of you. We will not fail. Where we go one, we go all. Absolutely phenomenal how they continue to post things that just get us excited. Also, we had this post. Peter Allen, CEO, Allen Machine Products out of New York. People were reluctant to work overtime because they'd look at their check and the government had taken a big chunk of that overtime pay. Well, now they are really motivated to take advantage of working overtime. How about that? Small business, they're waking up and they're starting to realize what they can do with their money. Speaking of money, we had a great video put out by Dr. Kirk Elliott. A lot of folks saw that silver went down to around $59, $58. And some were concerned, but most, he says, from And We Know fans were not, because they've been learning an awful lot. And a lot of them are jumping on board and saying, man, it's time to get more silver because they know it's probably going to go back up. We saw a great video. And that, if you missed it Saturday, I encourage you to go check it out. andweknow.com/gold. You can reach out to Dr. Kirk Elliott. Let's play a little clip from this one here.
Dipped below them a little bit. And it goes back to December of 2025. It's June of 2026.
Right.
Not very much.
So the price went back to the December price.
Right. When you think about it, it's like, okay, this is just fine. Numbers wise, it's a big correction. It's big. But percentage wise, it's the same as any correction would be over time. If it went up $10 and came down $5, it's like, okay, that's a correction. If it went up $3 and it came down $1.50, that's still a 50% correction. This just happened to have a lot of growth. But you look back to the beginning of 25, the beginning of 24, the beginning of 23.
Mm-hmm.
We started this trend when silver was in the teens, literally like $18 an ounce. And even after this pullback in prices, we're at 60. And I was just talking to a client this morning who said, boy, Kirk, I need to liquidate. We've got some financial pickles right now, and I need 10,000 out, but I hate losing money. It's like, how did you lose money? You got in at $19 an ounce. It's 60.
So a pretty amazing interview. I encourage you guys to check it out. He puts it all together for us and talking about the future and how this is going to move and more. I wanted to show you guys a couple of other things here. So I want to take you to Venezuela, where they had a rescue. President Trump posted this video where they rescued a baby. Yeah, and so those are touching. A lot of folks with tears and more watching what's happening, and the buildings that fell and more. And you guys know Trump and Bukele dictators, they called them dictators and fascists. Well, the deadly earthquakes hit Venezuela. President Trump immediately pledged full American support and resources. President Bukele, deployed hundreds of rescuers and tons of humanitarian aid. The very leaders the media demonized were first to help. Judge them by their actions, not the smears. You guys know that the U.S. deployed four-legged heroes to Venezuela to help find, rescue earthquake survivors. Miami-Dade fires elite search and rescue canines board a U.S. Air Force C-17 to join the rescue efforts. The death toll from the pair of earthquakes has reached more than 1,400. Officials report that 243 people have been rescued, but more than 68,000 people remain missing across the country, according to the Associated Press. Now, I don't know if you guys saw this, but let me show you a little bit about the government and what's going on here recently. If you're looking at your screen, you're watching Americans talking to this guy, the regime's feared interior minister of Venezuela, Diosdado Cabello, preventing members of U.S. rescue delegation from assisting Venezuelans. That's right. So they're preventing rescuers from other countries getting in. I've seen, folks, so many posts on social media where different countries are trying to fly into Venezuela and they're preventing them from having permission to fly in to help. Rescuers are digging through the rubble with machines and bare hands. The 48 to 72 hour survival window is probably closed. They've been doing, I'll show you some more rescues in a moment, but I wanted to show you something very interesting about these buildings that were falling all over the place in Venezuela. If you're looking at this, the devastating earthquakes in Venezuela expose exactly how the socialist government built housing for their people. If you're looking at your video from La Guaira, buildings in the Mission Vivienda program were constructed using expanded polystyrene EPS panels coated with a thin layer of cement without the reinforced steel and earthquake-resistant concrete that is required for high-rise buildings in seismic coastal areas. The deaths never needed to happen. If they had constructed these buildings correctly, they wouldn't have collapsed. Many properly engineered buildings remain standing despite suffering severe damage, but almost all of government housing complexes collapsed, trapping residents beneath the rubble. There's your communism in action. The end result is death every single time. You see that? Communism. Communism not letting folks in. The buildings are in shambles. These liars are caught again. Another one. Diliana Torrealba, 29 years old, was rescued alive after being trapped in the rubble of the Nautilus building in La Guaira for almost 70 hours. The rescue was carried out by teams from El Salvador and the United States. And he's so happy, smiling, and they took him out. And you just see the destruction, the rubble everywhere, folks, and it's just breaks your heart. But to see folks rescued has been phenomenal. Now, Buzz Patterson, our U.S. military, it's much more than a lethal fighting force. One of the world's most powerful humanitarian forces is the USA military. Right now, as Venezuela reels from devastating earthquakes that have killed hundreds and left thousands missing, American service members are on the ground and in the skies delivering life-saving help. C-17 Globemasters airlifting urban search and rescue teams, Navy ships like the USS Fort Lauderdale, and USS Billings are positioned offshore with helicopters and logistics support. MV-22 Ospreys, airfield assessment teams, medical supplies, and heavy equipment are flowing in to help locate survivors, clear rubble, and get aid to those who need it most. This is what America does. When disaster strikes, even in nations with which we have deep disagreements, those same capabilities, unmatched airlift, sea lift, logistics, command and control, and brave operators are shifted towards saving lives. One protects our way of life, the other shows the world its value. The U.S. military doesn't just protect power, we save lives. So I'm going to show you a video that came out, looking this up, of the buildings. If you're looking at your screen, you can see the destruction. These buildings we were just talking about, look how they just crumbled like sand, like they were built with sand, like they were sand castles. And they just crumbled right on top of each other. All those folks that were in there, crushed. So you kind of get an understanding when you're looking at this video of what these people endure. Why are there 68,000 missing people? Where are they at? It breaks your heart. Here's a video clip of Marines. The 24th MEU moved in. And this guy says, USA, thank you. And if you're looking at your screen, these guys look like they're packed up and they're ready for a long excursion. They're going to be out there operational. And you notice that that saw right there is designed, from what I was reading and watching, that right there is designed to go through the cement, And the packs, they are packed and ready with food, clothing items, and so much more, tents and more, I'm sure. They're ready to do what's necessary to provide the support needed. And I've been involved when I was in the Marine Corps, 2 major operations. One was the tsunami in Thailand. If you guys remember that, I flew into Mindanao, dropped off 5,000 body bags. We had reporters with us at the time. They stayed in there with a Marine captain who was worked at the embassy, and he was there to stamp any passports in the middle of nowhere, asking us for food. He was so hungry. And the media decided to stay because he was there to stamp their passports so they could stick around. I remember also being involved in an operation where Marines were trying to dig children out from under a mountain that fell on top of them. It was a landslide in the Philippines. It broke our hearts. They could not get to them. There was too much rain, too much destruction, but they did everything they could. I don't want to end on that note. I wanted to show you again, go back to America where we started, where folks are freaking out who came to our country for the World Cup. And I wanted to play some of these clips for us.
I went to a steak house, a steak place. I swear I have never tasted steak this good in my entire life. Oh Lord Jesus, we have barbecue in Africa. We don't have steak. It's black barbecue we are doing over there.
First of all, they give you these peanuts. You can eat as many as you want. She's like, yeah, just take a bag. Then they come out and they put this bread on the table, and I'm like, oh, I didn't order the bread. It's like, oh, that's free. And it's like, and she goes, and if you want more bread, we'll just give you more. Give you the Coke. Of course, it's America, so it's unlimited refill. You just leave there so happy. And then Australians are all like, yeah, but in America, you've got to tip. No, you don't have to tip. You want to tip. These people are the most wonderful people in the world. I don't even know why you Americans are so angry all the time. You guys have Texas Roadhouse in your country. You should just be walking around wanting to hug everybody.
Listen, I don't think you understand. This experience is something else. I want to take a sabbatical, man. For a month, off of work, and just go city to city. America, why are you doing this to me, man?
This place is definitely not real.
You can eat up your seats.
So these folks are excited. They're at a cinema and they can't believe they can actually do reclining seats in the cinema. And then another guy gets a Wagoneer. He rents one.
This Jeep Wagoneer is massive. It is huge. The air conditioning is amazing. The screen is amazing. I'm even getting cold air blowing up my bottom.
Oh, it's wonderful to see these clips, and so many folks are posting these videos. And you know, we didn't have social media last time we had the World Cup, right? We weren't able to see these clips, and I'm sure they were like that back then. They just didn't, you know, we didn't have the capability to see videos posted quickly, so we would learn more about what people think about this country. And you know, the media goes out there and they do all they can to destroy this country. What was it? 94% of the media is negative against President Trump. So if they're negative against Trump, that means they hate this country. You know, then they do all they can to around the world, because you got CNN pumped everywhere, BBC and these other ones that go into their tubes and they watch those tubes and they say, oh, it must be the truth. America must be a terrible place. I can't believe we're going there. Oh, and they get here and they realize, man, what a great country. And the big one is the food. It's delicious. Refills. A lot of things we take for granted. So I saw this clip and thought it was important for us to play this to kind of give us a little smile as we head into this week. Song about Karen. Enjoy.
I run into this lady almost every single day. She has a creepy haircut and she has a lot to say. And I'm well aware that you probably know her too. So just to make it clear, I'm gonna spell that out for you. K is for the kindness that she never really had. Don't get ahead of me. A is for her attitude that's always really bad, and R is for the ruckuses she causes where she goes, and E is for the evil and everybody knows. Karen, she's a Karen, brazen and Caucasian and a little out of touch. Karen, thanks for sharing. Karen, I'm declaring that you're caring way too much. Her face turns red when she's yelling at a neighbor or screaming at a waitress like she's going into labor. And if you've had a bad day, she'll make it even worse. I've seen her spank children that weren't even hers. Oh, Karen, she's a Karen, brazen and Caucasian and a little out of touch. Oh, Karen, thanks for sharing. Karen, I'm declaring that you're caring way too much. She banned a lemonade stand, they didn't have a license. She sued a haunted house because she got a little frightened. I saw her at a wedding where she booed the wedding singer. She cussed out a bridesmaid and gave the priest the finger. That finger. She doesn't really care for you, but wants you to respect her. She loves to give opinions on the things that don't affect her. For fun, she likes to run bike riders in the ditch. She drives away laughing, and they just yell out, "Be careful, Karen!" She's a Karen. Caucasian, a little out of touch. Oh, Karen, thanks for sharing. Karen, I'm declaring that you're caring way too much. Karen, I'm declaring that you're caring way too much. Blaring and the staring and the overbearing swearing, and you're caring a little too much.
Thought you'd enjoy that. You know, speaking of Karen, you know, I used to really love going to the theater growing up, you know, and movies would come out every week, and we'd head there, go on our dates or hang out with our friends and more. But, you know, movies are falling apart. They continue to make huge mistakes. Claire Patriot gave us this one, this clip here. Supergirl. Yeah, the movie that nobody wants to see. Well, nobody I know of wants to see. Crashed and burned at the box office. DC Studios is staring down massive losses. They went woke and now they're going broke. And they even mocked Christian dads. Check this out.
Did you hear how much DC Studios is about to lose on Supergirl all because they went woke? You know what happens when you go woke? Yeah, you go broke.
I have many queer friends, so honestly, I'm kind of honored. I'm honored that that's happening, but I think because she doesn't live inside the binary of what we think a woman should be, that is what makes her so special and so exciting and so new.
What is it with these woke leftist actresses where they just want to like burn their own career to the ground? Didn't DC Studios learn from what happened with Rachel Zegler in the Snow White movie? Yeah, that also tanked because this woman couldn't stop spewing her woke nonsense. Billy here couldn't keep her mouth shut. She went on her media tour and spewed things like negative comments about Christian dads. You know, a lot of people that go to take their kids to see your Supergirl movie, or who would have, are Christian dads. She said when she clicks on the profile pictures of these accounts that are criticizing her being in the movie, it's all Christian dads. How dare they? And of course, all of the remarks about her character's sexuality. Nobody cares who Supergirl wants to take home. Nobody is going to watch your movie because they're like, yes, go girl, we really needed a non-binary gay character. Honestly, Hollywood is going broke because we're sick of all this inclusivity. We just want a good storyline. We don't care about all these side quests that you want to push on your main character. We don't care who they're in a relationship with unless it's like relevant to the story. So that is exactly why this movie is tanking and projected to lose DC a lot of money. But let me know, do you plan on seeing this? In the comments.
Yeah. I'm a big movie guy, and I tell you what, one of those that didn't go woke that maybe they should learn from would be like Top Gun Maverick. And that came out, I didn't think woke there. As a matter of fact, they had America in there. He walked into that diner, and he asked the people in there, "Where am I?" Remember after he crashed. And that little boy looked at him, and he said, "Earth." And the theater died laughing. We said, that's our country. That's America. And it was very, very powerful to see. The America we love has been under control of military, I believe, for a long, long time. We've been given access to information that only few would understand or even be a part of, but it's growing. And here's a reminder that what they wanted us to know from the White House: stand at the ready. As the darkness falls, so does our enemies. Patriots are in control. We will not fail. Where we go one, we go all.
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we look to you again. We thank you for your continued guidance and direction in our lives. We thank you for putting wonderful leaders in control, folks that are working behind the scenes to support this country and the messaging behind it. Thank you for all of the people that are working so hard. Would you give them the energy to continue to move forward with this great awakening happening in so many places? We also lift up all of those that are in the rescue efforts of Venezuela. So many people in shambles and in tears and in despair as they watch their country demolished. People in pain and their leaders continuing to live in their communist era thinking. We ask that all those that are in the rescue efforts have just an amazing filling of the Holy Spirit. May folks walk around and share the gospel with many who are in despair, and even more so provide food and more to those, so many in pain. We lift up our leaders to you, continue to stand on the front lines, that they would have protection from the enemy who wants them destroyed, and also for our own families and our own way of speaking and talking to others. Would you help and guide us? We definitely need you. Without you, we can do nothing. We bring this all before you in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen and amen. Thank you so much, folks, for your continued support and your prayers and so much more. We've got so much going on. Looking forward to, this week and more going into July 4th. It's going to be amazing. For now, it's LT Semper Fi with Them We Know, signing out.
They want to restart the war on Christians and churches. And as you saw with the communists elected in New York City recently, they're communists, they're not social democrats.
What does success look like to you moving forward?
Well, I think right now we already achieved success in the most secure border in the history of the nation.
If the Iranian regime thinks for a second that President Trump is going to stand by, while Iran continues to attack international shipping without a response, or our bases without a response, they're sadly mistaken.